Okay, we'll just do a little revision here of linear equations. You would have done this in grade 8 and 9, and we're going to look firstly at one-step equations and then two-step equations. Equations can be solved by using inverse operations. So, let's look at A. A plus 27 equals 71. We want to solve for A. So, plus 27, if we subtract 27, that cancels. We need to do the same to the other side, which is subtract 27. So on the left-hand side, we're left with A. On the right-hand side, 44. That is a one-step equation that we've solved. We only had to do one step. So that was A. With B, it's D divided by 16 equals 3 1/4. It's D divided by 16. If we do the opposite, which is times by 16, that cancels and just leaves us with D. That's exactly what we want. We've times that side by 16, so we must times this side by 16. Let's change the 3 1/4, which is a mixed number, to an improper fraction. So we go 4 times by 3, which is 12, plus 1, which is 13. So that's our improper fraction. And 16, we can write as 16 over 1. Then 4's into 4, 1. 4's into 16, 4 times. That leaves us with D is equal to 13 times 4, which is 52. Again, a one-step equation. We had to do one step, which was times both sides by 16. C is the square root of E is 0.87. Well, the opposite of taking the square root, or the inverse of taking the square root, is squaring it. So if we square this, then the square root and the square sign cancel each other and just leave with E, which is what we want. What have we done to this side? We've squared it. So that's okay as long as we do it to the other side. Whatever we do to one side is okay as long as we do it to the other. So if we have 0.87 squared, that gives us E being 0.7569. The last example, we've got F squared equals 4 over 25. Well, that is squared. So the opposite of squaring that is if we take the square root, because then the squared and the square root cancel each other out, which leaves us with F. So what did we just do to this side? We took the square root. So that is perfectly fine as long as we take the square root of this side as well. So when we take the square root of this side, the square root of 4 is 2, the square root of 25 is 5, and when we're taking the square root of something, we've got to remember that it gives us a positive answer and a negative answer. So the answer is F is equal to positive, negative 2 over 5. Okay, they were one-step equations, so now let's look at some two-step equations. So the first one we're going to look at here is 5y minus 6 equals 79. So we are trying to find y, but we're going to have to do two steps. Now, when we do two-step equations, it involves the inverse of two operations, and it's really important that we undo, if you like, in the correct order. And the correct order is the opposite order to BIDMAS. So here's BIDMAS, and we undo in the opposite order, so we go this way. So we have to do the additions or subtractions first. So here we have subtract 6. If we add 6, that cancels. And again, that is okay as long as we add 6 to this side. So we have 5y equals 79 plus 6, which is 85. Then, this is 5 times y. Opposite of times is divide. We divide that and that cancels. So then we divide this side by 5. So then we have y is equal to, and 85 divided by 5 is 17. Okay, in example B, we have 4x divided by 9 equal to 5. So undoing in the opposite order of BIDMAS is there's no addition or subtraction, so it's multiplication or division that we do first. Okay, so what we do, I am going to undo The 9, this is divide by 9, so I times by 9, cancel. Okay, as long as I times that side by 9. So now I've got 4x on the left-hand side and 45, which is 5 nines, on the right-hand side. This is 4 times x, the opposite is divide, to cancel, which leaves us just with x, which is what we want. I've just divided that side by 4, which is okay as long as I divide the right-hand side by 4. So the video, we have got one-step equations, and then we've moved on to showing you two-step equations.